Flight boss, bitch. For sure. You're now listening to the Mind of Terry's Moon. Don't go to Archangel Uriel and Flight boss here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And right now, we're going to talk about what happens when you die. What happens after death. Because one thing I realized is everybody wrong. And if it's not one person on the internet, it's probably like one or two people that's close. But they start rambling into other things. And I'm finna tell you exactly what. Now, I died before. So you got all these other people who's in religion and Christianity and stuff, and they talk about they died, and they seem to like, look, it's not none of that shit. I'm finna tell you what it actually is. Now, this is what happens when you die. When you die, your conscious, people want to know where you go. This is what happens. Your conscious awareness, your spirit, it's like a formless, shapeless, odorless, non-flammable gas. And we know the physical representations of it by all the gases that start to expose itself within your body once it starts to decompose. Now, those are the physical representations of it. Now, once this conscious spirit, what is your spirit? What is your conscious? Look at this. Look at it like this. When you want to show somebody your energy, or show somebody your spirit, show somebody your consciousness, whatever words you want to use, you have to do it through a physical, right? So it's not actually being seen, but it becomes your aura. It becomes what you're known for. So it's a behind the scenes realm. You can know who someone is based upon their aura, based upon the vibration frequency you feel off them, right? So that's how you choose to express, that's how you express your spirit or your consciousness or whatever words you want to call it. It's your gas. It's a shapeless, formless gas because I'm not seeing your energy. But when you start to express how much energy you got, now I can see it off of you. And the more energy you express, what happens? Temperament happens. You start to heat up, right? So pay attention. Pay attention. Transformation. Heat cause transformation. Now, this is why you can transform water. You can transform, transform solid things. And anything that you want to transform something in takes heat. You see what I'm saying? So this is what you got to do. Hold on. Wait a second. Alright, sorry about that. But yeah, when it comes to it transforms. So, as a gas, what happens here is your conscious awareness, things that you consciously aware of, the emotional state that you genuinely, like for right now, for an example, you in the present right now. Don't worry about the future or the past. You in the present. Your emotions and feelings, the vibrations you always resonate with. Is it in anger all the time? Is it in hatred all the time? Is it in love all the time? Is it in wisdom all the time? You know what I'm saying? Is it in creativity all the time? Wherever your vibrations and what you're consciously aware of and what you choose to resonate with for most of your time. This is going to consist of what's in your formless, shapeless, non-flammable, odorless gas, which is your consciousness. This is what it consists of. It consists of everything you was consciously aware of in the present existence you was living. So it's something like your dream. When you dream, you go to the frequency vibration of your emotions and feelings, and you start to live out the experience of your feelings. You see what I'm saying? But at the same time, your feelings have no look. It's just going to have the look of whatever brain was resonated with the dimension it was in. And since you're in third dimension right now, then your dreams is going to appear to look like the dimension is in. But what the brain is processing. But at the same time, when you're asleep or dreaming or daydreaming or whatever like that, it just looks that way, but it's less dense, it's less physical. You that formless, shapeless gas. You the one who give it color and look based upon your utilizing your imagination and your resistance towards the illusion of light that you receive of how things may appear to be. You see what I'm saying? So that's create your imagination. So whatever you consist of and whatever was manifested, we could break those down into elements and stuff, but we're not gonna do that. That's another video. But the stuff you made your conscious awareness consist of, you made your formless, shapeless, odorless gas consist of, right? It's going to take, once it leaves this body, when you die, it leaves this body and it goes and takes shape and form in whatever frequency vibration that conscious was at. For an example, say you was a person who maybe a thief. right? You're a thief. You got a lot of thief and you got a lot of negative thoughts on your when you was alive. When you die, that's what your gas consists of. So it's gonna go take shape. It's gonna go into another realm of reality and take shape and form over the best elements that's put together that can consist of that frequency vibration. So when you go into another reality, this is why some people say they see the light. Because what you're doing is you're going into another male consciousness. You're going into another, whatever man is vibrating on that frequency that resonate with how you was vibrating, then that's the person, that's the light, that's the head, that's you going to a person's idea. You're going to a male's idea. You're going to a male's mind. You see what I'm saying? As a gas. And that gas gets filtered through the sun, the being that man is in. You know what I'm saying? The sun. So when you go in to the sun, you take shape and form of the realm of reality of the illusion that sun has created, the imagination and the life that sun has created. Then the male organism within that reality that's vibrating on the frequency that you was in when you died, he's going to get those ideas. Like I said, when you get ideas, these are not yours. These thoughts are not yours. They only become yours when you create your own resistance, and that little orb in between you catching that and you having your resistance to that is what creates your own idea. You see what I'm saying? But for the most part, when we're talking about it, this is spirits. Like I was saying, as without, so within, as above, so below. So you go into a person's idea. Now, once you go into another man, you become the totality of everything in him. Then you can become that overall idea to go into whoever he had sex with. Then once you go into that world and become the overall feeling and expression and emotion, and then you will be able to come out in that world as a physical being with your same consciousness. See what I'm saying? So the dimension that you in is an entirely different brain. So it's not going to remember the exact way how life was when your consciousness took the vehicle of another brain that got transformed when you died. But what is going to be remembering is the circumstances and the situation you set up for yourself. The things that you added to your conscious awareness. All the things you added and you was enlightened about and you liked it doing. And that you didn't like doing. All that is going to consist of what shape or form or what person you go into. Now, this is why a lot of people come back to earth, or religious people come back to earth. Remember when they say Jesus, they try to find the light and stuff like that. So if that's what you're doing now, when you die, your conscious gas takes the shape and form, and a lot of times that's this sun. You never ascend. You stay up under this sun, under this government and law and light. So that's just people who's scared to leave, and they got an oversoul named Jesus and all that makes you, that attracts that light for you to go into the light and keep coming back here because you don't see things in no other type of way. Then when you get to people who keep coming back to earth, say there's a specific person, place, or thing that you constantly keep your conscious awareness on. You constantly like doing the things of that nature. If it's purely in the physical, if it's purely external, purely outside of you, then that's a thing that's has been created by this dimension. So if that's the only thing that's the only shape or color of that thing on your mind, right? When you die, your gas is going to be in search of a color, shape, or form in the astral plane that resonates with that frequency vibration, and that's the kind of vessel you inhabit. So you have to think about it, not what you're consciously aware of, what you can see. That's just the dimension, but you always have to go within. You see what I'm saying? Because you could put yourself in a situation where you keep coming back to the same place and you never ascend. You know what I'm saying? Just like, for an example, people who act like ducks, people who act like squares, they come back as that. People who act like bitches, they come back as that. So if you've been ascended or descended and you're a human right now, and say you keep acting like a bitch, we know the natural terms is a female dog. But all the energy and messages and frequencies behind it, you know what it takes to be called a bitch, whether you're a male or a female. And say you end up liking that. Or you always doing things to be in that frequency vibration. When you die, that is what your formless, odorless, non-flammable gas consists of. So when it goes into another realm of reality, it's gonna automatically go to the frequency vibration because it doesn't have the brain to think. It just has the soul to experience. Same way your dreams, all this trying to think in your dreams is some man-made shit. The point ain't to think of your dreams. What gives you the ability to think of your dreams is controlling your emotions and feelings, but that's another video. But you need to understand that your frequency vibrations is only going to take shape and form and go into a vessel that's vibrating on the same frequency. So if you constantly acting like a bitch or whatever like that, and then we know a bitch is something that's tied into this reality, so that means automatically you come in here. Before people can even ascend, they got to learn how to detach from the shit in the dimension that they in. But that's another video. But say that's attached here. So you being a bitch is attached to this reality. So you already coming back here. Then all the representations of a bitch and a female dog and things of that nature, you know what that is. So in some way, shape, or form, when you in whatever vessel you in, say you're a human and you've been acting that way, when you die and get transformed, that's what your conscious gas is going to spread out and search for. And once it's gonna find another light, aka a male conscious, and you're gonna go into whatever male is vibrating on that frequency. And if it's a bitch, it's gonna be a male dog. So you're gonna go into a male dog's mind, aka you become an idea to a male dog. Your gas, whatever location you was at, whatever location that dog is at, that dog is gonna pick up your senses. What happened? Look, you get ideas every day, right? That's what it means. People think when you go outside and go up under the sun, you get all these other frequency ideas. Why is that? Because the sun is within the mind of the being you in. So this is why suns is important. Going into the light and all that. You see what I'm saying? So as you being a gas, and you was acting like a bitch, and that's what your conscious gas, conscious spirit consists of. You go into, you become a dog sent you. A dog got this idea now of you. A dog go and breeding, have sex. Then you go into a female dog. Then you come out in a dog's world, a bitch world. You see what I'm saying? So that's what happens when. So now that you understand this, you start to understand. You choose where you go because now this when you can start to talk about heaven or hell. I don't really like to use the words heaven or hell because it's tied and correlated to, and it got a lot of baggage to it. But in so many words and shapes and forms, is right. You know what I'm saying? Some people need the religion for the crutch of it, but this is what it's actually saying. If you in the present right now living a harsh life, a hateful life, always always debating, always arguing your religion, always wanting to be a slave, always praying, you looking for because you're looking for a predator, you're looking for someone to rule you, things like that. If you living in all these kind of things and living in all these kind of natures and things of that nature, then when you die, that's what your conscious awareness is frequency vibrations is. So when your odorless gas is going to take another shape and form that want to do the same thing. See what I'm saying? Now, the shit. So if you experiencing hatred and opposition and what's right and separatism and things like that, like what preachers do and stuff like that, or you just a regular person who live angry and things of that nature, then what happens is you go to hell because your conscious gas takes shape and form of the experience. Not the people, places, and things in a location. You can wind up in any dimension, depending on how much conscious awareness, how much experience your spirit got on it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's another thing too. You know what I'm saying? It's different ways to ascend. The more you have experienced in whatever vessel you in, the more conscious awareness you have gotten, whatever. Like the more you have experienced, the more you have seen. Your conscious is already big, so it has no choice but to take a vessel of a larger being. So you may ascend to a star, whatever like that, whatever like that. But say all these experiences is hateful and anger and hating life and this, that, and third and worship and all that. Say it's an impact with all that, then when you ascend physically, your spirit is gonna experience more of that. So yeah, you go to hell. You went down spiritually, but you went up physically. You see what I'm saying? So you went to hell, basically. You created your own hell. But really, it's just the same existence that we in. There's a hell to a heaven, and there's a heaven to a hell on all scales. And so in so many shapes and forms, that's what's going on. Now, this is why I encourage religious people to try not to be so much into these things, because you're going to create that for yourself. And if you're putting all that on your spirit, you're putting all these things on your spirit, all these theologies, all these books, all these different ideas made by man, you're putting all this shit on your spirit. Your spirit gonna leave this body once you die and go into a body to experience that in a worse way. You see what I'm saying? You think what you're doing is good now, and it's not good. It's not, and you can see how it's not good. You can see it. You see what I'm saying? So that's what happens when you die. Your odorless, shapeless, conscious gas takes the shape and form at whatever frequency you was vibrating at. And your frequency vibrations was your ideas and how much emotions and feelings you was putting in these ideas. You see what I'm saying? Now the whole point of life is to learn every dimension, every brain that you use as a vessel. Is to experience and to know what to not to experience again, and to know what to experience again. You see what I'm saying? It's like a cycle, and the people, places, and things don't matter. The feelings and emotions and what you're actually experiencing is what matters, and that can come in many different shapes and forms. AKA come in through different many people, places, and things, but it's the same experience. You see what I'm saying? So this is what you have to understand. It's the same experience. Now, for the most part, whatever ninth dimensional being that you end up inhabiting as a vessel, you're going to experience what you've always been experiencing. Because the present is the only thing that matters. So if you're in the present, if you changing yourself now, then that lets you know you always been changing. And you're going to go somewhere that's cause of change. If you've been staying stuck and stagnated right now, then that means you've always been stuck and stagnated, and you're going to another place with more stuck in stagnation. You see what I'm saying? It's all about frequency vibrations. Your spirit lives forever. It's this body that's going to die, but your gas is always here. You see what I'm saying? Your form. Like I said, everything is frequency, vibration, and energy. You can tie everything up under frequency as far as gas, thoughts, ideas, spirits. You know what I'm saying? Your space within a space, timeline, a line of events. Then what comes second is seconds. Vibrations. You can tie everything up out of vibrations. That's all forms of fluid, movement, motion, emotions, the soul, because it's in now, it's in a realm of reality, it's in the midst, the experience, your time, experiencing the timeline, the frequency, experiencing the vibration, the spirit, experiencing, now it's a soul. You see what I'm saying? And then everything is energy. What you could tie anything up under that. Solid. Because we know everything is gas, liquid, solid. Under energy, it'll be solid. Physicality. The reality. Think dense. Density. What matters can become matter and become solid. See what I'm saying? So once you understand that concept, you understand the ways of life, you understand if you're in a physical form, then that's always going to be transformed. You're always going to get evaporated. You see what I'm saying? But you always come back down. Same way like rain do. Flight boss, bitch. Goddamn, man.